Hey there, folks, pull up a chair, because I'm about to tell you a story that'll hit you right in the feels. A story about a woman who got knocked down, dragged through the mud, and came out shining brighter than anyone could have imagined. Picture this, a cozy little house in suburban Ohio, the kind with creaky floors and a kitchen that smells like fresh-baked cookies. That's where Sarah lived, pouring her heart into making a home for her husband, Mike, a guy who always seemed to want more than what they had. Sarah was the kind of woman who'd spend her evenings ironing Mike's shirts, humming old country tunes, making sure the dinner table felt like a warm hug after his long days at the car dealership. 6 years they'd been married, building a life in that modest split level, nothing fancy. But to Sarah, it was everything: love, laughter, a promise of forever. But Mike? He saw it differently. To him, that house was a cage, those cookies a reminder of a life too small for his big dreams. One night, he came home, tossed his keys on the counter with a clatter that made Sarah jump, and let loose. "You think this is enough, Sarah? This nothing of a life? I'm out there grinding, and you're here baking cookies like we're stuck in some 1950s sitcom." His words cut deep, but Sarah, ever the peacemaker, tried to steady herself, wiping her hands on her apron. "Mike, this is our home. We're building something real here, together." He laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "Building? All I see is a stack of bills and a wife who drags me down. I deserve better, Sarah. Mansions, fancy cars, respect. Not this." Before Sarah could catch her breath, there was a knock at the door. Her stomach dropped. She knew who it was before she even opened it: Lila, her childhood best friend, the one who'd shared her secrets over late-night ice cream runs. Lila had changed, though. She'd traded their small-town roots for designer heels and a bank account that screamed new money. She sauntered in, all perfume and confidence, flashing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Mike invited me," she said, brushing past Sarah like she owned the place. "And Mike?" His eyes lit up in a way Sarah hadn't seen in years. Over dinner, Lila showed off photos of her latest trip to Paris, her voice dripping with charm. "You'd love it, Mike. The wine, the lights." Sarah sat there, her hands trembling under the table, as Mike leaned in, eating it up. Then Lila turned to her, her smile sharp as a blade. "Sarah, you're sweet, but Mike deserves more than this." And Mike, he didn't miss a beat. "She's right, Sarah. Lila's got it all: class, money, connections. You're just dead weight." Sarah's world tilted. "Mike, she's my friend. How could you say that?" His voice turned venomous. "Pack your stuff and get out. Lila's moving in. She's everything you'll never be." Sarah stood frozen, searching Mike's face for any trace of the man she loved, but all she saw was cruelty. "You heard me," he snapped, slamming his hand on the table. "You're done here." Lila just smirked, crossing her arms, her diamond bracelet catching the light. Sarah's heart shattered, but she wouldn't let them see her break. She packed her things: a few dresses, a worn-out photo album, the pieces of a life she'd poured her soul into, and walked out into the chilly Ohio night. The door slammed behind her, and only then, alone on the street, did she let the tears fall. That night, Sarah wandered, her suitcase heavy in her hand, no plan, no place to go. She ended up on a park bench, the city lights mocking her from a distance. "Where do I go now?" she whispered to herself, her voice lost in the wind. She tried reaching out: Mike's mom, old friends, but the doors kept closing. Mike's mom, who Sarah had nursed through a bout of pneumonia, just shook her head. "Lila's got money, Sarah. I can't cross Mike now." Friends she'd known for years turned cold, their texts polite but distant. She overheard one at the grocery store: "Mike upgraded with Lila." Sarah was always plain. Each rejection was a fresh cut, but Sarah had no choice but to keep moving. She took whatever jobs she could: cleaning houses, stocking shelves, waiting tables. Her hands blistered, her body ached, but the whispers followed her. "That's Mike's ex. Guess she's not cut out for the big leagues." One day, after a double shift at the diner, Sarah's legs gave out. She collapsed on the sidewalk, her suitcase spilling open, her few belongings scattering in the dirt. People walked by, some staring, some whispering, but no one stopped except one guy. He knelt beside her, his voice calm but firm. "Hey, you okay?" Sarah tried to brush him off, ashamed. "I'm fine, just need a minute." But he wouldn't leave. He helped her up, gathered her things, and sat her on a bench. His name was James, a quiet guy in a sharp blazer, the kind of person who seemed to carry the world's weight without breaking a sweat. "I don't need pity," Sarah muttered. "This ain't pity," he said, handing her a bottle of water. "It's just being human." He didn't push, didn't pry, just sat with her until she could breathe again. When she asked why he'd help a stranger, he just said, "Sometimes strangers see you clearer than the people who should." James kept showing up, dropping off coffee or a sandwich, leaving notes that said, "You're tougher than you think." Sarah didn't trust it at first. Too many people had burned her, but his kindness was steady, no strings attached. One day, over coffee in a dingy cafe, she spilled her doubts. "I'm broken, James. I believed in love, in loyalty, and it all turned to ash." He leaned forward, his eyes steady. "You're not broken, Sarah.